1, 2, 3, 4. I couldn't think of anything. That's a big bore. That's literally what I was.
Experimental unit.
I couldn't think of anything.
The defective
That was
clouds
worse
were
than
now-
counting in Spanish.
I was
They just
trying
counted in
to-
Spanish and just like left it.
I was trying to think of something with like racing back to the shore,
They call
like
themselves
two ships,
the
but
Bad
then like I
Batch.
couldn't. I don't know.
You should just counted in Spanish and left it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Bad Batch-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 14, Tipping Point. Well, before we get into today's episode, we mentioned this last night's episode for the Mando breakdown, but we know some people don't listen to every episode, so we'll say this again. But if you are not following us on YouTube, you should, because we have a YouTube exclusive video where Drew and I did a season review of The Last of Us Season 1 HBO series.
Yeah.
So obviously most people that are listening to this episode now are probably maybe more kid friendly, and so they're probably not watching The Last of Us, which is
fine. That's
Which is
why it's
fine.
on YouTube.
But we're just gonna, for people who are listening that would be interested, yes, go check that out. Only on YouTube. We did about an hour long episode on that, just breaking down, talking about the season, and we're kind of doing it as a little test run to see if people want us to do some non-Star Wars content that we would do in the future, but would be through like Patreon or some sort of paywall, just for some extra content to see what you guys would want. But if not. But we're just going to try and find a few extra dollars that we can make here and there and put out some content that.
Yeah, and we don't want it on for multiple reasons, because we want to be able to do reviews of things that aren't necessarily family friendly, like The Last of Us, like
Right.
Stranger Things, potentially the last season, like Cobra Kai, the last season, like stuff like that, that like maybe you're
Want
a
your
younger
kid.
audience and you're like, oh, I don't want to, which is why I would be behind a paywall or on YouTube. With
Yep.
that though, we do, if you guys did go watch it, there's a bunch of you guys that already watched it. Just go over there and say yes, you want it. Just say yes. Just comment, go back to that video and comment yes. We'll understand what you're saying. Like, we just need some feedback. Like, we appreciate that you guys are watching it. Like, people seem like they did like it and they watched it, but we do need a little bit of interaction with that, besides just you guys watching it, because that
Definitely.
doesn't really help us.
Right.
Comment. That's it.
Yep. All right, cool. We got that commercial all the way. But again, before we get started in today's episode, I always forget to do the Spotify Q&A, but not tonight, kids. I remember to bring it up. And so last week's episode was a boring episode and not a lot happened, so I didn't have a big question. But we did talk about Pixar last week. So my question was, what is your favorite Pixar film?
That's awesome.
And we actually got a lot of responses. We got 8 responses. Jonathan says, probably the OG Toy Story. As a kid, I always maintained the idea that my toys would come alive when I was gone and had their own lives. And I still believe that as an adult.
Me too. Now,
You got a lot of toys in
do
your...
I slowly open my door to my room every day?
All those
Yes.
boxes that you have that are unopened have been opened,
They're
Drew.
just going downstairs and like they're just running around like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was Jonathan. Crow Crazy says either Inside Out or Onward. Good choices.
Both.
Abe Fish says Toy Story. Pizza says the first half of A New Hope. I don't know how that answers the question.
But I appreciate that. So
Elias says WALL-E, hands down, it is the best Disney movie ever. Dang, that's a big hot take.
That's a hot take.
It is definitely a
We
good.
need. I need a hot take button.
Nate Keeney says either Up or Toy Story 1 through 3, since those were some of my first movies I ever watched.
Oh, that's cool.
Addie says Up or Wally, and JD says Toy Story.
Trying to think. What's your favorite? Do we answer that first?
We talked about this last week, so go listen to last week's episode.
Shut-
But I think I said, because remember we talked about how like all the new ones suck.
yeah.
So like I think, the first Incredibles, Wally, and Onward. But a lot of them I've only seen once, so I needed to go back and watch a lot of them again.
Toy Story for sure is up there for me. But it's kind of getting old because my kid watches it daily.
Every day.
He was wearing today. He was wearing his Buzz Lightyear shirt. It says Buzz on it, and it says Buzz, and he's like going like this to me, and it was pretty cute. I was like, okay, all right, we can watch Toy Story.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we're going to this Disney thing that's happening. It's like it's like Disney experience in Minnesota. So it's like you go in and like, there's like a bunch of like images of Disney, and then like there's Disney characters walking around and stuff. And apparently Woody might be there.
Sounds like Miles is gonna get terrified of these
I
things
think
and
so,
start crying his head
yeah,
off.
hopefully
but
not. So Stephanie's like already picked out his outfit. He's wearing his Buzz Lightyear outfit because he has like a full Buzz Lightyear like not costume but like a jumpsuit. And then she's like, "What shirt are you wearing?" I'm like, "I'm wearing my Empire Radio Star Wars shirt because why not?" So I'm gonna wear that hoodie, and then yeah.
But
We'll see. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully he doesn't get scared, but I think he might because he
the
gets scared of Halloween costumes.
the circus is in town this weekend.
Oh, it is.
At
Have you ever
Exo.
been to the circus?
I feel like I was when I was like 5, but I can't remember.
But it's probably not as good anymore.
I don't think they don't have animals anymore because
Yeah.
it's animal cruelty, blah blah blah.
I mean, it kind of is. Jeez, Jeremiah.
Yes. So Bad Batch, tipping point.
Isn't Minnesota Zoo borrowing some dolphins right now too? I think.
Borrowing dolphins?
Yes. So because they can't have them anymore, but they get like there's this group of dolphins that go to all the major zoos in the U.S. now.
I don't know.
That's their get around from not having them.
That is a weird. I don't know.
I don't know if I support that, but
anyway, Bad Batch, tipping point. So this next week is the last 2 episodes of the finale, which are both released at the same time. So look forward to that. We'll be doing both episodes together. Hopefully, we can do it all in one episode. Rather, they're gonna be like 2 1-hour episodes. I'm like, oh,
shush! Don't say that. Good Lord.
But
I mean,
this
I
is
would love it, but
right. But this is the tipping point of the season where it's all gonna come together.
Now, Cody, should we have got this last week?
We should have got this quality stuff throughout the whole season because this was a great episode on so many levels. Like, it's just so okay. I was thinking about this, so I figured out why season 2 has been hit and miss and not the greatest. You want to know why?
Tell me.
I figured it out. I can't believe I didn't think about this before.
Tell me.
Because they stole all my ideas from my fan fiction of Bad Batch fan fiction that was like so many parallels, so many same things from season 1 from what I wrote my thing, and I never finished my Bad Batch fan fiction season 3, and so they had no source material to copy.
It's your fault. So it's your fault.
It's my fault. I apologize to everyone listening out there. Like only like 5 or 6 episodes this season have been really good. And it's my fault that we got that racing episode.
All right, I'm willing to blame that on you. I was talking to a coworker today about Bad Batch, and they're like, "Yeah, like I've been watching it consistently, but then like they haven't for the last like 3 weeks." I was like, "Okay, last week wasn't that great, but this week and the next week they're probably gonna be really good. So buckle in, it's fine. If you got past the racing episode, you're good to go." And he's like, Yeah, it was kind of hard, but I did get past it. So I'm like, all right, well then you're good. You should be fine.
Yeah.
But
So again, I apologize to the fans for not writing my Bad Batch fan fiction to finish that, because I was gonna do season 3, and then I never got to it. We got busy with doing other stuff on the podcast, and then
well, at this point, it's like
Andrew left, and it's like now I don't want to just sit here with Drew, talking to Drew for
just read to me
for like 3 weeks straight, just reading the bedtime story to Drew.
I'm just like, who you look over and I'm just knocked out. Like what?
Yes, Brady. I saw that what you posted in the Discord, but I didn't see the picture. So apparently on the Bad Batch Instagram, someone accidentally leaked photos for next week's thing that are like very spoilery. So don't get spoiled, Drew.
No, I don't even follow Bad Batch on Instagram. I don't think.
Right. That's kind of so someone either got fired or they did it on purpose just to create hype because they know people don't like the show. So
I'm guessing the latter.
Because like I feel like
because the hype is not there right now.
I wonder if these big companies, or even we could do it, like, is there a way to set it up where there has to be like a 2-person authorization or to like post?
They probably do. I don't know, but they have to have access, right? It's not an accident.
Right, because but multiple people are going to have access to an Instagram at Disney. Like, it's not just one guy that has the password. Like, it's literally hundreds of people probably have access to it.
I don't think it's hundreds.
Dozens. But like,
either way, it was probably on purpose to get hype. Is it gone now? Did they take it down?
Oh yeah, they took it out in 25 minutes, I think I saw.
Maybe the person that is in charge of running the Instagram uploaded the wrong week. Because the thing was, they're probably like, oh, next week is the last episode. So then
there's a poster.
They did like the last one. They said last week is the last episode, but then they didn't realize that there's 2. Maybe they messed up.
Maybe. But yeah,
I hope someone didn't get fired over something like that.
I don't want people to get fired. Come on.
No, I said I hope they don't.
Oh, I thought you said that you hope they get fired.
No, I think that's dumb. Like, it's fine. It's a cartoon show. Like, relax, Disney.
Right. I don't want people to get fired for over something so small. Now, if it was a leak on Mando
or Ahsoka, it's like Ahsoka hanging out with Thrawn, then we have problems.
Ahsoka dies the first episode, and it's all flashbacks for the rest of the season.
Oh God.
What if she does die? Ezra goes into the world between worlds, goes back and saves her again.
I'm down, because between that we could get a flashback of Maul live action again.
Right.
And I'm so down for that. So let's go.
Bad Batch.
And it's a good one, and we keep derailing.
So we go to a cool planet. It's at night.
We didn't even say if we liked it or anything.
Yeah, we should go. I thought we kind of said we liked it. And
we both liked it. That's fine.
I thought it was a really good episode. And it was like, this is a perfect episode leading into a finale. And
correct.
But it's like,
it still fell a little short though.
The episode itself didn't fall short. What the episodes preceding it fell short. Like,
yeah,
the payoff isn't there because there's so many episodes that were just filler, didn't really add anything. And like I'm just so mad because the good episodes are so good. Like, why didn't they just make the whole season this good? Like, I could have written this season like better based on what the direction they had. Like, I could fill it in better. And so,
and we've been talking about this entire season, right? Like, why did they have filler episodes? Well, because they don't need to, because it's not on. They don't have to hit certain deadlines of numbers of episodes. Like, both of us would way rather have smaller season,
10 episodes.
10 episodes, but they're so good that you can't stop watching it and you want to go back and rewatch it all.
Right.
But
right. So part of me is like, yes, it's a great episode, but there wasn't enough investment getting to this episode to really make it as meaningful as it is. But it's still great.
Last week, the biggest thing out of last week is that they're there on that little island.
Yeah. And
that's
we thought that the Empire was going to come to Pabu, but I feel like they're just gonna leave. And so
No,
next,
they're gonna leave Pabu because
but then so then I feel like if there's a third season, Pabu's just gonna be their base of command for whatever they're doing.
yeah,
And
they're just
so
gonna live on Pabu now.
so I don't know.
Unless only like Echo and Hunter goes to try to get Crosshair, and then meanwhile they track them somehow, and then they go to Pabu to get Omega.
I don't know.
Like, if the Bad Batch is smart, they wouldn't take all of them to go save this dude. But
Well, it's the Bad Batch, so they have to do everybody. They can't just the
I
bad
guess I don't.
the bad two.
They could take all of them, but just leave. I guess, but they have to protect her. So I don't know.
Right. So anyway, scene by scene, go to some random planet, which later on in the episode we learn is named Balmora. I don't know if that has any significance in anything, but Balmora, and so it's a cool, awesome scenery. Pans down into like inside like a mountain or whatever, and there's just like a facility there, and some clones have been arrested and are being transported. And I wish I had catched it quicker, and I didn't even realize it till after that. But I missed it in the episode. But the one of the clones there is Hauser from season 1 with the hair. Like they say his name a couple times, and I didn't even catch that because then I looked in the credits and I'm like, oh, Hauser, I missed it. And so yes, Hauser, the cool guy, cool clone from the Ryloth 2-episode arc in season 1. So it was good to see him again with his
I
cool
was kind
hair.
of sad we didn't get Cody.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna have Cody, which
with Echo. That would have been cool.
yeah, I thought that's what was gonna happen, but it wasn't, which was weird. But the clones get put on a transport and they leave planet, and a smaller ship comes out of hyperspace, and this ship is cool.
For a second, I thought it was the Ghost.
It kind of a little
when
bit.
When it first came in, I was like, "Oh, the Ghost!"
But it wouldn't make sense because Hera is literally like 12 years old or something.
But like maybe it's the first people that ran the Ghost before Hera. I don't know. Like
right.
For a brief second, I thought it was the Ghost for some reason, and then it wasn't.
Right, but this is a cool ship because I'm guessing it's been modified to do what it does, but like
100%.
But like it's like an escape pod type thing pops off that can be used to do stuff.
Track people.
But like I was watching, I noticed it looked weird for a second, like when it's attaching, and I was like, why does it look weird? And then a reaction channel that I watch was saying it's a vibro cutter. So it's a vibro cutter. It lands on the ship and then cuts it open.
Yeah.
And
seals it so they don't like die. And it looks like a cube, which is kind of interesting too. Like the shape too is a little
right. And so
it was really cool. This whole scene was really cool.
Right. But anyway, on that smaller ship, you have Echo, Gregor, Hauser, someone named Nemec, which is weird because that's the guy from Andor, with the manifesto, the kid that gets paralyzed.
Oh, true, yeah.
Which is weird. It's different spelling, but it was just kind of like
GG.
Like of all the names, like you picked the same name but spelled differently.
It was probably created at the same time.
You could just call
Andor took a long time to come out. So.
Right. And then Fireball, and I think there was a couple others that I didn't get their names, but a bunch of group, and they're all like, but Rex wasn't there, so.
Which was another like. Well, I guess it makes sense.
But we do learn. Echo does say later on in the episode that they have a network of clones. Yeah. They're everywhere, so it makes sense that they're not going to all be there. But it's cool to see that there's a big network of clones out there rebelling and doing things and trying to save their brothers, and so that's cool. But anyway, the Imperial soldiers and whatever the officer was, I don't think we got a name for him, but they all go to the landing docking bay. I don't know, what is this thing called? Do we know what is that called? Chat, let us know. What is the the attachment pod, like when you are boarding a ship. What is that called? Is it a docking?
Docking bay.
Not docking bay, docking port or something. But so the troopers on the ship, they go to that. Like, oh, this is the only way that they can get in. But the one other piece that broke off cuts in, they entered in that way to do a sneak attack from behind. So that's cool. Like, that's really great. We've seen a million shipboardings in Star Wars, and this was just a fresh way to do it, a cool way. And so once they've been breached, the lieutenant or officer or whatever says, all right, erase the data banks. And so they start deleting everything. Echo and was it Gregor with him? They make it to the cockpit, and the officer there, he does the tooth thing where he bites his tooth and it shocks them. Like, we've been seeing this a lot. Like, saw it in Mando season 2. We saw it at least the second time this season.
We saw it in Andor. Did we?
Did we see it in Andor?
Maybe it was just Mando. I was thinking.
I don't think we saw it in Mando.
You mean Andor?
Or Andor. There's too many names, too many shows. But yeah. So
either way,
they've been doing this a lot. So it's just interesting that they're
weird reference.
But it goes to show just kind of. I think it's just painting how crazy the Empire is, that they're all have.
All the head guys have that.
Yeah. So it's just interesting.
We talked about this before. They're supposed to represent Nazi Germany because they would bite on it. Was it
cyanide? Is
cyanide?
Something that. Yeah. But yeah, so he kills himself. But a lot of the data has been erased, and so Echoes, he's doing his thing, where he locks in and tries to extract the data and get data. Doesn't get a lot.
Dude, his hand was very useful in this episode.
Yeah.
Because he got through the main door too with it.
He did more in this episode than he did in like all of
last season
and when he was with the Bad Batch this season.
And when he was part of the Bad Batch and the last season of Clone Wars too.
Right. But he was rescued from that, so he was a little out of it then. But
that's fair.
He was getting his footing back because he was attached to that computer machine thing.
Too bad he didn't get his hand back.
Too bad. That wasn't a joke. Too soon. Too soon, Drew. Too soon. Come on. But another Imperial cruiser comes or whatever, and all right, we gotta go, boom, 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 and so they get as much data as they can. They reattach to the ship with that pod thing, and then they swoop around and get out of there. All right, cool. It's exciting. And so then it jumps back to Mount Tantus with the science facility there, cloning facility, whatever it is. We don't know exactly what's going on there yet, but something with cloning, something with whatever. And so Crosshair is brought to some room, whatever, and gets tied down, and Emery Carr is there, and so she is tasked with extracting information from Crosshair via Dr. Hemlock's orders. And so he's like, I want to know where the Clone Force 99 is, which is weird because I thought that like it just assumed that they were alive. Like, why does he think that they're still alive when the official report says they're dead? Why didn't Crosshair say they're dead? Like, I thought there was going to be that conversation. He's like, well, we have reports from, because Admiral Rampart, he gets that information from like the first 2 episodes of the season that they're still alive. And so he was hiding and covering that up. And so I thought, oh, maybe he figured this out through him somehow, but that conversation didn't happen. So it's kind of like weird that they did that. Did you notice that, Drew?
Yeah, I was confused by that part. Because I was like, wait, I thought Crosshair thought they were dead. or
Right.
like Rampart literally made sure that no one knew about it and he killed a clone in
Right.
this season. Like, but maybe they tortured Rampart and they took him
Maybe
away and
that's
got the
possible.
information from him.
That's possible. But Crosshair, he refuses, and so Emery starts the torture scene. But then another person comes in, which I forget. Scalder. She's the scientist that we saw at the end of season 1 that introduced Nala Se to Tantus. Um, but there are some theories going around about this Emery lady. So I never noticed it before because we've only seen her 2 other times before this episode. But in this episode, she has a lot of talking points, and she has a New Zealand accent.
Hmm.
And some people are speculating that she is another female clone, and that she is what Omega will grow into looking like when she's an adult. And
How would that work?
she was just Omega, but with the growth acceleration.
Oh,
So, because at the very end
interesting.
of the episode, when Hemlock is talking to Crosshair about we just need the girl, like blah blah, it pans to Emery, and you could tell that she's having second thoughts in this episode throughout the episode.
Yeah, but I
She
just thought
stops
that
the
was because she didn't want
interrogation.
to torture him.
Well, there was that, but then but at the
Because
very
she's
end,
a
the
really
last
good,
scene,
she's a real doctor, or a real
but
scientist.
but at the very end, when Dr. Hemlock is talking with Crosshair, it pans to her while he's talking, and she has a worried look on her face, like
That'd be
she's
cool.
and I looked, there's this close up of her face, and I'm like, she has the same eye color as the clones, like the brown. Obviously, it's this generic brown, but like very similar color. And I'm like looking at her facial structure, like, does that look like the male clones? Like, is there any like similarities? And I'm like, maybe that's a feminized looking face. I don't know.
I mean, they're all drawn by the same people, so it's possible.
Maybe I'm just drinking too much of the living waters of Mandalore, and I'm seeing things that aren't actually there.
You're spending too much time on our Discord. Which join our Discord if you want to spend more time with Jeremiah.
Yep, because Drew doesn't hang out there at all.
Okay,
So
you don't have to say that. See, I was like,
you just gotta jump in once in a
I was
while.
doing a plug, and then I get shot down. You guys, this is
but yeah. So I don't know. Emery, she's an interesting character with that accent because that's very intentional because the clones have Omega has a strong New Zealand accent. Tamara Morrison has an accent that's New Zealand, but it's a little less refined than Omega's.
that'd be cool. Who's the voice of her?
Keisha, I think Keela, something like that. I don't know. I don't know names.
No, I'm saying, is that the same voice actor as this girl, the doctor too?
Omega's? It's not the
Yeah.
same as Omega's voice actor.
That would have been cool.
I don't know. There's more than one person that can do a New Zealand accent.
Well, I know. Isn't the voice actor of her not even from New Zealand? Of Omega?
No, I think she is.
Oh, why did
I think
she was Asian?
she is Asian.
Okay,
but I think she's
she
from
might
New
be
Zealand.
From New Zealand.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So I don't know. It'd be cool if she's a clone. If not, then whatever. But
that would be sweet, though.
Another sister, like a sister. Like,
well, if she was like the whole time, actually, like she ends up betraying them and stuff.
I wonder if she is a clone, then that means Nala Se made her. So maybe she's like Nala Se's like mole in this facility. Like, I don't know. Like, it'd be cool if Nala Se comes back and gotcha. Like, she's been my gal the whole time, like infiltrating.
Yeah.
This
Either
facility.
way, she was having issues of what she was doing. Either way, you can tell that she does not want to be doing what she's doing.
Right. And so it's gonna be really cool. I hope she doesn't die. I hope she joins the Bad Batch. That would be great. Because she's an altered clone. So
Why would
very
I
cool.
rather her be with Tech than the pirate girl?
No, they're too similar. They would drive each other crazy.
It'd be kind of fun. Dude, there's so many pictures and stuff of Tech and that girl though, the pirate.
Yeah.
Like all over the place. Like like just a heart around them too. Like it's like, oh my gosh, people, calm down.
Right. But everybody loves a good love story except for me because I hate love stories unless it's very meaningful to the plot of a story where it actually matters. If it's just there for fun, I think it's lame.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's that. Torture starts to happen. But then the other Skuld or whatever her name is comes in and says, one of our ships has been attacked and the clones have been taken. And so now if you notice an opening when Crosshair is being brought to his room, there's other clones in these jail cells. So there's other stuff with clones going on with other than just Crosshair and their desire to have Omega. So I still want to know what's going on at this facility. We don't know. But anyway,
I think a lot of it has to do with them just taking them to get rid of them, to make sure they're not betraying them, and then torturing them
no, because
or pulling.
Hemlock is doing his thing where he's repurposing them. Because we have that one crazy assassin clone.
You
and
think
then
he's
later
making
on,
them all assassin clones?
Right, because later on when he's talking to Tarkin, he's like, I have a better way of addressing the clone issue than just decommissioning them, which seems to be just euthanizing them. So he's like repurposing the clones by doing this assassination brainwash thing, which is our guess, but we don't know. So he's definitely reutilizing the clones for a specific purpose. But like I said, we don't know exactly, we just have our theories. But we go back to Coruscant. And so they go down, which we still think is the Trace and Rafa's garage from Clone Wars, because we know that they were working with Rex, and so I'm assuming it's their garage. But we didn't. I thought we were going to see him, but we didn't. But there's a bunch of clones down there. Senator Chuchi and the guard that was with her is there, and they're just talking about, like, where were you being brought? Like, were you arrested? What were you being charged with? And it's like, I was charged with like deserting type of thing, but we don't know where we were going. And so Senator Chuchi, she's kind of working her angle to like see if she can find some information. And that's all we get for that. But then we go back to Crosshair being tortured, and Emery stops the torture process to like not kill him, basically. And like she has the troopers there. Was it like tie him back down, like untie him or something, or what was it? I can't remember. But one of the troopers puts his gun down on the table that Crosshair is. I'm like, stupid guy. So Crosshair, he's like barely awake, but he's awake enough to like shoot the guys and then get Emery's key card thing. But I thought it was really cool, which we never really heard before. But when he is threatening her, you can hear the sound of him switching the weapon to stun. I don't think we've ever heard that noise before. I know it's like a weird detail, but
I thought we have.
Because we've heard like, okay, turn to stun. Okay, so their guns are on.
I thought we did though.
But it was very distinct. Like
it was very loud.
It was very loud. It was very like a warble type of sound where it just switched.
Yeah.
And then he stuns her. Tries to get out. He kills some clone or some stormtroopers. Because he's in a daze, his aim isn't as precise as we would expect from him.
Yeah, he like missed one and then he hits 3 perfectly. It's like,
yep. But he
that
gets
one is off your record.
Yep. He gets to some sort of control panel area, and he sends out. He redirects the angle of the satellite, and sends out a message. Plan 88. So I forgot they always had these plans.
Yeah.
Because I think season 1, they're like, we had to do plan 7 or whatever it was. Like, plan this. Like, is that the one we did on that certain plan? Yeah, that one. Do it. Go. Like, so it's cool that they have all the way up to 88. Like, what are all the other ones? How far are they? How many do they got?
They got a lot. They're good.
But troopers, they noticed that unauthorized signals being sent, so they shut down that right away. But it still gets out, and the room closes and starts to fill with gas. And through the gas, Dr. Hemlock walks through it. And he's like, I created this, and I have an immunity to it. Now, I thought he was going to say he created it to only work on clones. Like, that would have been way cooler.
Well, when he first walked through, I was like, how's he okay? Like, I'm so confused. And then he answers it right away. I was like, okay, never mind.
It would have been so much better if it was just, I formulated it to work on clones.
Like, it was like something with their, like, chip or something like that.
Something. Just their genetic thing.
Makeup.
Like, they do that with, like weed killers, right? Where it only kills certain plant types, and so it doesn't kill your flowers, it kills the weeds or something like that. I thought it would be something like that, but I guess not. It's just built an immunity to it, and so he's not just has immunity. He like takes a deep breath in, like, yeah, that's like just like
all right, bro. You know what? When he did that whole breathing thing, it reminded me of like every time I have coffee. That's how I feel. Like,
yeah.
And I feel like when you have Wesley Andrews coffee, it kind of gives you immunity to certain things too. And you know what? After his days, if Crosshair would have had coffee right away, maybe you wouldn't have been days.
But yes, if you enjoy coffee and or tea, take a listen to our sponsor today.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it. All right. So, after this, so Dr. Hemlock comes in and they get Crosshair. But after this, we go back to Pabu and they're rebuilding. So it's been a while. It's probably been a couple months, a month or something. Like, it's not completely back, but enough where it hasn't been a couple of days. Like, there's enough buildings redone where they've been building for quite a while. So a lot of time has passed.
Well, and like they feel comfortable. They know more people. Like
Right.
the Bad Batch is like very integrated into their system already.
Yeah, because the guy Shep, is that his name? Shep? He like, yeah, you guys are an important part of this community now. Everybody knows you, so he makes note of that. And so Wrecker comes in with a giant fish that he caught on a fishing pole. Like, dang.
And dude, okay, so as a fishing nerd,
Yeah.
this boy had a rod, but it had 2 rods on it.
Did it? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, if you look at it, it's like a double rod.
Did that something?
That's not a thing.
That's not a thing. It's just
It's a
thicker.
Star Wars thing.
When they make heavy duty ones, are just thicker.
Yeah, they're just bigger. They can hold more weight.
Like, yeah, those ones that they're doing like swordfish and stuff. Those reels.
Those things are like, they can hold up to like a few 100 pounds.
well, more than that, like the pull on a swordfish pulling against that while your boat is going forward, like that's
That's
thousands of pounds of like.
Yeah, well, the line, dude. The thing is, like, the pull, it doesn't match. Like, the strength of the line is actually more. Like, for instance, like I have a pole. I don't think it can pull that much, but the line itself is like probably like 50-pound test.
But I'm saying like when they pull it back and it curves down, like that's a
Yeah, it holds a
lot of
lot.
that's a lot
With
of
those,
weight.
yeah, it's like a few hundred. But I'm saying like this one was so big that he had to have 2 poles for
Yeah.
one fish.
Yeah.
So,
I think it'd be cool to go sword fishing and catch a swordfish. Like that would just you just don't want to jump and like into the boat and
stab you.
stab you right in the chest because that's happened.
I think it would be cool to go deep sea fishing at some point, but I'm afraid I would pull an Andrew and get sick and hate my experience.
I vaguely remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, Andrew went one time and he got seasick really bad, he said. I get car sick.
You get car sick?
Yeah, if I'm not driving or in the front seat and I'm in a car, I get car sick. If I look at my phone for a second, I get car sick, like instantly. Like instantly.
Weird.
But if I'm in an SUV or a van, I can sit in the back, I'm fine. But when they're lower to the ground, I have to sit in the front seat or drive. So a lot of times I just volunteer to drive.
That's weird.
It sucks.
I never knew that about
It's something, honestly, it's something that you develop once you start driving. Because most people I know that get car sick, it's because they drive.
But that's like 99% of the population, so that's kind of like a hard.
Well, I'm not saying everyone. I'm just saying. Well,
saying
true.
It's like,
but the people I know that don't drive, like some of Stephanie's siblings, you, my other brother, they don't ever get car sick.
it's all psychological.
I wish. It sucks.
Okay,
bro.
if you're going from the front seat to the back seat, and then there's a difference, like that's a psychological thing.
It's not, dude. It's because I need to look directly out the window at all times in the front.
Yeah, that's a psychological thing. You could go to therapy for that. Any therapist listening, send in a voicemail.
True.
Can driving sickness be cured through, or maintained, or whatever through
hypnotherapy?
No, just this therapy or counseling of some sort. But anyway, when we start a psychology podcast, we'll dive into that. But yeah, Crosshair is a big fish. What's her name? The kid, their friend, Leanna, and some others are like, we're rebuilding the wall. Like they're building, finally after all these years, they're putting up a wall to stop the next thing. So what?
You said Crosshair.
Did I say Crosshair?
It's not. Sorry.
He's probably caught a fish at least once. He's probably shot a fish, but
true. With like a spear gun.
I guess harpoon gun.
Yeah, harpoon gun. That's what I meant to say.
Well, he did catch AZ in the finale last year when he shoots into the water and like pulls Omega. And does that count as fishing?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe I'll go.
He is a fisherman. Sniper fishing. Yes. But so Wrecker, he's like so excited to go help build the wall. He's just happy to do whatever.
He's loving his life right now. Wrecker is like,
he's always happy though. Like,
but he's really happy because he's full. That boy eats a lot now, I bet.
Yeah. And so that's happening. And then the Havoc Marauder flies over at
H&M,
flies over, and Tech is giving Omega flying lessons. And she's very crazy at what she's doing. Tech is just terrified out of his mind. But she's getting better. And one of the things that she has to do is a quick turn and go back to the the island. And it's called the Tech Turn, which we saw in season 1, also on the Ryloth episode, where he does that, where he just goes full speed basically and then stops in midair by turning the engines off, turning around, and shooting back. So she does it, and she does a great job. Very good.
Well, and I love this interaction too. He's like, "Well, that's not what it's called, but I kind of like it."
Yeah, like he's getting more in touch with his emotions and being able to express himself more. So maybe when you're not fighting in wars and almost dying every day, you have time to like better yourself as a
Well,
person.
and I also feel like having a kid around, and once he became willing to open up to her, like throughout the season, you can tell that the relationship is building. He's been able to break down walls that he's built up. He's not just a robot. He's not just a droid. He's like becoming an actual clone. He still has those capabilities, but he's not so fixated on those capabilities. Now he's actually able to like be a person.
Right.
So,
but while they're flying around, they get a signal and another ship is coming. And it's Echo. And so I forgot to mention earlier that when we were back on Coruscant, Echo is like, I don't know how to decrypt this message. I know someone who can. And it's him going to the Bad Batch. So he arrives.
And Hunter knew he was coming.
Right. And so the ship arrives, and Echo is immediately like, "Oh, I see you're still keeping up with your training," because that's, I think, what he said to Echo when they parted. Like, make sure you keep up with your training, blah blah blah. And so he mentions that, and then he's like, "I'll race you back to the island." And so they race back, but Echo wins because he had like a head start, which is not fair.
She did the trick again.
No, she didn't do the trick. I was kind of upset. Like she did a wide turnaround, which I'm like, come on, you just did the thing.
You just did the thing. Do it again.
Do it again. But they get back, they land, and Omega almost like land on top of like 20 people. Like, did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Echo lands in a safe spot, and when she's landing, all these people are like running away and like thinking they're gonna get killed.
They still embrace her driving around. Like when she was flying and stuff, they were cheering at her and stuff. Like,
right. So they land. Omega lands, and she runs out and jumps up into, I was gonna say his arms, but
his arm.
He just has one and a
his
half.
nub.
Is his whole arm a whole thing, or is it just halfway down?
Halfway down.
So he has one and a half arms. So I guess that counts as arms. So, but then Tech comes like, I hear you need me to decrypt something for you, blah blah blah. I can get it done, blah blah blah. As Tech does. I thought, and it's like he's working on his emotions, but here he sees Echo for the first time in months.
He went back to it.
He is like, oh, so I see you got something for me. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like he's really opening up to Omega, but not really everyone else.
Right. So,
but kids do that though. Kids bring out the best in people. I feel like.
Are you telling me that Miles changed you, Drew?
100%. You know this. What do you mean?
Yeah,
I know. I can't even think about how it was without kids. I can't even watch, like, I was watching this other show and like they were like not torturing, like this mom got arrested and she was pregnant and then she gave birth and they took the baby away from her to like get her to rat, and the baby was crying in the background and that's how they're torturing her.
This is like a fictional show, or
it's
like,
not real. It's not real.
I'm like, what the heck?
No, it's Mayans, like the other show, The Sons of Anarchy. And I was like, I could not watch it because I could hear the baby crying and it was like stressing me out. And before I would never even cared about like that, but like it was so bad. I was like, oh, this is rough.
Dude, when I went to the doctor yesterday and got x-rays, like it's like the big x-ray room, so I'm like standing up like to do the thing, but like in the corner they had the baby thing. Have you seen how they x-ray babies?
Yeah, because Miles was x-rayed when he was,
because they put him in like a 2-liter bottle basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the contraption. I'm like, that's so, I think it looks so funny when those babies are in those tubes.
Funny. And
but
to you of your own kid, it's sad because they're crying every time they go in those tubes. They're never happy.
Some of them they're just hanging out and they're like, what am I supposed to do? Hey guys.
They're always screaming.
But yes, so they go off to go encrypt the thing. This is where we see the scene with Tarkin that we mentioned earlier, where Tarkin is like, he's always been anti-clone ever since in the Clone Wars when we saw him. He hates the clones, always weary of them, wants to get rid of them. And here he's like, let's just we're done. Like, we need to be done, basically. And Hemlock's like, take a chill pill, Tarkin. I have other ways
Apparently,
to.
there's more clones that are defying.
Because
your
he's like, they're all more and more. And he's like, decommissioning them is not working. Like, that's what Hemlock is saying. It's not working. But I know how to do something else with it. So it's this reprogramming of sorts that we think is going on. And Tarkin is like, well, I expect you to come up with a report and find it. I think he said at the summit. I don't know. I think that's what he said. Like, so there's some like big, probably Imperial con or something like it's the Galactic Con. It might be. Could we say it could be the 2 years? 2 years since the Empire, maybe. Maybe the summit is like a 2-year Empire Day, like anniversary type of thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because we don't really know exactly the timeline. We're thinking it's probably like 2 years now. But I don't know. Maybe it's just been like a year. Who knows? But
Star Wars, you never know the timelines for anything.
Right. And
On
so
purpose, so they can get away with things.
Right. And that way they can always go back and add or whatever. But after this, back to Pabu and Echo and Hunter are talking just about things, catching up. And this is where Echo says we have a network out there. Some people are moles in the Empire. Some people are underground right now. I'm like, this is cool. This is opening up for a lot of possibilities in the future. But then Tech is like, all right, guys, I decrypted the thing. You got to get in here. And Tech shows them information. Like, there's not a lot on here, but here's like some images of a scientist and from the Advanced Science Division, and the Hemlock, Dr. Hemlock, I guess, was part of the Republic, and the Republic cut ties with him because he was too extreme or too dangerous or something with what he wanted to do scientifically. And so there the Empire then swoops and takes him once the Empire's there. So, but he says in these logs that some of the information, he sees Crosshair's, I think he says his number, which would be CC 00 something or whatever.
Yeah.
So like he knows that this program has Crosshair, and he's like, well, while I'm going through all these things, I looked in our old frequency whatever, and Crosshair sent us a message, Plan 88, which is called the Seeker. And apparently that just means that you're being hunted. Like, you got to run. That's whatever that is. And so they now know that they're being hunted by the Empire. And they're like, well, he's giving us a warning. Like, he's trying to help us. But Hunter's like, well, it actually might be a trap. And so then they're kind of like figuring out what are they going to do. But obviously, they're going to go to Mount Tantus to try and save Crosshair. And so then after this, goes back to Crosshair, and he's being tied up again. And Dr. Hemlock is like, we're gonna torture you again, blah blah blah, and we need Clone Force 99, blah blah blah. And then Crosshair is still refusing. He's
not saying anything.
Not even saying anything. He's not saying no. Like, and then I don't know. Dr. Hemlock, I just think he's a great villain.
Oh yeah.
I wish we had him at the beginning of the season.
Way better than the villain they killed off.
Yeah, Rampart. Like I don't know. And like, just the voice actor, I don't know. Like, we always talked about this voice of this guy. Like, it's just so much.
Good.
It's more clear. It's more defined. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. There's something about just the voice acting for this character that I really love. And there's a scene where like Crosshair just is silent, and he just takes a deep breath, and then like sighs. Like, I don't know. I'm nerding out about something stupid. But yeah. So then he's like, we just need the girl, blah blah blah, and then it pans over to Emery, who has a worried look on her face. So I'm hoping she's a clone. Omega's a clone that
That'd be cool.
had growth acceleration,
And he didn't know.
and he didn't know, and she's a mole for Nalase. And I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Maybe it's a big stretch because she has a last name, Carr, Emery Carr, so obviously it could be a fake name, but who knows?
It's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I'm not like putting all my chips in that bucket or anything.
But you know what chips? What bucket you should throw your chips in?
Oh, here we go. What?
The VCU bucket. With
That's true.
and
That's
your
a bucket that needs to be filled.
and your chips are your art submissions.
Mhm.
And that was a big stretch of an analogy, but
Yes, it was.
we're at the end of the episode and I haven't played it yet. So if you're an artist, take a listen to this message from our good friend Lucy.
Hey everyone, Lucy here, and I'm pleased to tell you that some of my fellow Empire Radio listeners and I made a fantastic original Star Wars audio drama, all through sending voicemails to the pod. It's called the Voicemail Cinematic Universe. Here's the thing, we need your help. The Empire's goal is to get an illustration made by us listeners for every single voicemail, and we have quite a ways to go. So if you have any sort of artistic abilities, join the crew. Any type of media is welcome. Lego scenes, digital art, paintings. You could even make food art. If you answer this call to action, there's a link in the description that leads directly to a Google Doc. It tells you exactly how to submit your art. This whole VCU project will be 100% fan-made, and we can't wait to see everyone's work. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do
Good.
it.
Yep. If you're an artist, please click the link and just browse. Just you don't have to commit to anything. If you click the link, just read the instructions. See if there's some in a voicemail that you think you could illustrate. Just dabble. Let us. And if you think you can do it, and then send it in. Like it's super easy. And so we're over halfway done. But we still got a lot to go. A lot of the harder ones are being what's left, and so they might be a little bit more intimidating, but there's still some easy ones in there that you could do. So, and Brady in the chat saying in the coming weeks I'll try some more stick figures.
Let's go. And Dave, you're in the chat too, so
Yeah, he's working hard on those Lego stop motion, but
he's probably doing one right now.
Brady, I'll take whatever you send, but don't send in a stick figure thing for like a very like intense battle scene or something where I don't know. There's still some simple ones in there that you could do, but
Did one today. Wow, what a go, bro.
dude. I don't know how he.
I want to
Dave-
learn how to do it.
Dave, you need to do like a behind the
Tutorial.
scenes on like how you do it, and like post on YouTube. Because like he times it, he lines it with
I haven't seen
the
any
audio.
of them.
I know,
I'm like so tempted just to look.
he lines it up with the audio, and I'm like, how do you do the timing? Because it's like picture by picture. Like I don't know. I'm not creative.
I'm
enough.
tempted just to send him my Lego sets that I've not been able to like build. Just be like, you know what? Here you go. Have
Get
fun
the-
with these.
Get the Star Destroyer.
Dude, I have like, what sets do I have? I have the Bad Batch, like the Marauder. I have that thing I haven't built. I have the Imperial,
Lambda
what's it
thing.
called? Yeah, Lambda shuttle. I have that. I have the, what's it called? The Slave One. Like all these nice Lego sets that I'm like, I don't have time to build them or where to put them.
Gotta buy a bigger house.
True.
But anyway,
In a year or two.
Bad Batch. So
Yeah.
next week,
Well, Bad Batch, we finished the episode.
finish this episode breakdown, but next week is the finale. So
And
clearly,
My prediction
everything-
is they're gonna go get them.
well, that's probably what's gonna happen. Which is funny because at the end of last season, they tried to do the same thing, go rescue Crosshair.
I did like that
And-
Hunter
but-
did mention that like it could be a trap again,
right.
And like it's gonna be interesting to see how they push Hunter to actually go see if it is a trap or not.
Right.
Because that's the thing is like, I don't know if it's gonna work, or maybe like Echo and his crew goes first, and then they get trapped.
Well, the big question is someone gonna die? Like a character, like okay, Fireball, like he's a new person. Like if he dies, we're not gonna care. But like, is Echo gonna
If
die?
if
Is,
anyone
like,
dies, it's gonna be Crosshair, or everyone's been saying this all season, Tech.
you think? But do you think it will happen that one of the main characters is
I'm
gonna
still
die?
leaning towards someone's gonna die, but I kind of hope not.
But it's just like,
It'd be cool if we end the season and they get out, but Omega is captured,
that'd be cool.
and that's how they end the season.
That'd be really good.
Yeah, and maybe they just won't get her because I'll be okay with that.
But I'm hopeful. I think it's gonna be a
Yeah.
good one. But the thing I'm worried about is that most of it's gonna happen inside Mount Tantus, like just in the facilities. So it's just gonna be like a bunch of random shootouts and stuff.
Oh, it is.
Like I like last season's finale. You had the great cinema movie of the Kaminoan facilities being destroyed and it falling down, and it was just visually stunning.
They'll do it, bro. They got a way to do it.
What is gonna happen?
If anything, they're gonna track where they picked up that
Signal,
and they're gonna maybe just go attack that place.
like maybe first episode they go and actually get Crosshair out. They go back to Pabu, and then the Empire comes to Pabu and attacks, and that's where all the cinema, like it's sunset again.
And the only guy that dies is the guy that's in charge of Pabu.
Shep.
Yeah. Because then it would mean stuff to us, but then at the same time, it's like the thing is, if they don't have what's her name rat out or do anything, because they mentioned her again. No,
Nalase.
No, the girl that they've been working with this entire show. What's her
Sid.
name? Sid. Because even Echo asked like, "Oh, I just thought you guys would be with Sid," and they're like, "Yeah, we're trying to figure that out."
It's gonna be weird seeing how that.
If they don't mention anything about Sid next week, and just nothing happens, I would be kind of annoyed because then her whole character and her development throughout this season has just 100% been a waste of time.
Right.
Like just not worth our time at all.
Because
they could have just told us that Sid was off doing this and they're gonna leave her. Like
because
they could have done that
multiple times this season. She's threatened the Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like now is that threatening gonna actually mean something? So,
yeah.
Who knows? Well,
I think
maybe
maybe she rats it out. Maybe she's the one that betrays him.
Maybe, but I don't know.
And then it would bring something to her character. If not, her character is a waste of time.
Maybe Sid will die.
I'm
maybe she'll die trying to save. Maybe Sid will send Cad Bane after them. Says,
"Oh, that'd be sick.
Brady.
That'd be cool. Let's go.
That'd be cool.
That would be amazing."
No, it'd be even better.
Boba?
No, because when we saw Cad Bane in the first season, he does the standoff with Hunter, and Hunter loses. But this time it's against Crosshair. Now, obviously, we know Cad Bane doesn't die because he's in the Book of Boba Fett.
And he still doesn't die there.
But maybe Crosshair is able to shoot him down enough to just keep him down to escape.
What I would have gave to have Boba be in one of these other episodes, and Cad Bane was hunting Bad Batch, and Boba
shows up and saves Omega.
Like Boba went to go capture Omega, and then Cad Bane went there too, and they were fighting over her.
So it's like Cad Bane and Fennec Shand in that one episode.
Yeah.
We get Fennec. I guess we could see Fennec again. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe
She could
I don't
pop
think-
in.
I think we would have got her in a trailer though. If we would've got her.
But if it's from the finale only, you're not gonna get spoilers from the finale.
Maybe
so.
not. But you know what I mean? Like that would have been cool arc. And then
Yeah.
we would have got that shooting scene and how Boba got that dent.
Yeah.
And then Boba didn't capture her because he realized they're the same people.
Right.
That would have been way better than episode 4.
Well, next week we'll know. It'll be exciting.
I mean, we're not getting that next week. But that would be cool, but
But-
it's like, that's gonna derail the entire story.
But I don't know, what is our Q&A going to be for Bad Batch this episode?
I had a
So,
joke one and I forgot it now. Dang it. Oh, this is ask if
or if Emery
girl's
is
a
a clone,
clone.
we
Yeah.
can do that. That'd be cool. And so we'll may or may not get the answer to that next episode or in the finale, so we'll see. But anything else before we jump into everybody's favorite part of the show?
No, that's it. I'm excited for the finale, the last 2 episodes.
All right, cool. Let's transition over.
It's voicemail time.
All right. So we have 3 voicemails tonight. Plus, Will sent a text message, or in the Discord, because for some reason there's still issues with sending in voicemails, and he can't, for some reason, on his phone and computer, never lets him send in a voicemail. So we got a question from Will. So we'll start out with that one. And he asked,
Wait, hold up. Do it in his voice.
no, I did it once a couple weeks ago. That's it. That's all you're getting, my impression of Will. And I didn't practice this time, so. But his question is, do you like Greek food? If so, what is your favorite thing to get? Drew, do you like Greek
I
food?
don't eat enough Greek food. I do like it. I just don't eat it enough. But I like hummus. Is that Greek?
Is it Greek?
Isn't it? I don't. Will
I thought hummus was more of like a Middle Eastern
doesn't eat
thing.
it. I don't.
I don't know.
See, now I feel dumb and ignorant.
I don't know.
I feel like it is. Chat.
I'm
Help.
gonna look it up right now. How do you spell hummus? HUMM. No. How do you spell hummus? I have no idea. How do you?
Jeremiah, if you don't know how to, well, you're asking the wrong dude.
Why is it not? I don't know. This is not looking good. Oh, that's how I spell it. Okay. So hummus. That's not the correct hummus. it's-
HUMM.
There's 2 M's.
US.
I was only putting in
Yes,
one
there's
M.
2.
It says Middle East. So it's like
They don't eat it in Greek food. I said they eat it in Greek.
it kind of like borders Greece, I guess. Maybe
I feel like
don't
they
know.
eat it, and I could be wrong. Will send us examples. Clearly, we don't eat it enough.
I'll do the thing where you.
Just I
Well, I guess it's like Greek and like on the edge. So it's like the edge of the region of the Middle East is the Greek.
yeah.
So,
So,
they do make it, but it's mainly more Middle Eastern than it is
Yeah, but
Southern.
okay. So
Europe. So
what?
you have like
is
euros.
yeah? What I always get like gyros and hummus and
So, I like
well, not hush puppy. What's the other thing called?
I don't know. I don't
The
know.
circle. Wow, I'm so.
I don't know.
I feel so dumb right now.
I just know euros, and I've only had a euro once, and it was from like a place that's seemed like it was more of like a fast food Greek thing. And I was like, it's a place called like Dino's or something like that.
Yeah, that's a chain.
Like I got
Yeah,
that once. And
I'm
I wasn't-
right. Yeah, you can get hummus there. You can get what are those things called? I feel so stupid.
Dave says souvlaki. I don't know. So sorry to answer your question, Will. We don't know if we like
We
it or
don't
not
eat it
because
enough,
we
but
don't know.
I know that I like it. I just don't eat it enough.
Like a lot of it has a lot of fresh ingredients. I think
Yes,
like
it is like a lot of tomatoes and lettuce and
cucumbers
and
there's probably a lot of seafood since it's right on the Mediterranean
True.
Sea.
I like it. I'm gonna say yes, I like it, but I don't eat it enough. What
Yeah,
is the thing I'm talking? It's like literally, it's kind of like a hush puppy, but it's not. Falafel. There it is. Yes, falafel.
Isn't that Jewish? I don't know. We're done.
Well,
We're done with this question. Will, you stumped us. So
And you're not here tonight either in the chat. So,
feta
but yes.
cheese. Oh, Dave says feta cheese, which feta cheese is good like on some salads and stuff. I like
How did
feta.
I not see that?
But anyway, thank you, Will. Maybe we should dabble in some Greek food sometime.
Yeah, when you come to EmpireCon.
EmpireCon. No, we already got other stuff planned for that. We can't.
No, I'm saying maybe we'll go out Friday before, like us three.
That's not a promise, Will. Don't get your hopes up.
Okay, well, me and Will will go eat. So
All right. Anyway, thank you, Will. But let's jump into some other voicemails that we got here. First one is from Addie. And as always, Addie is very excited. And so let's take a listen.
Hi, yo, Empire Radio. It's Addie back at you with another voicemail. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I certainly am. But I wanted to talk to you about the latest Bad Batch episode. I know this is super late. Hopefully this gets in time. But so far, my theory is working. Like, it's right. Oh my gosh. And I did not expect it to work this well. But what we've seen so far with this episode is that Echo got the intel. Echo got the intel telling the Bad Batch that Crosshair is in the hands of the Empire. So all we need to do is have Omega get kidnapped and everything will be fine. I know that sounds dark. I'm sorry. Anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing week, and may the Force be with you. Bye!
Thank you, Eddie. Was there like something in the background?
there's like double in the background or
No, it was like Siri or something was in the background of that. I didn't even notice that when I was playing it.
Oh,
listening to it for some, but
for some reason I thought it was me.
I was like, was something on my like a pop-up ad or something? But yes, Addie, sorry,
Yes,
we're
Addie.
being goofy here. But yes, your theories now.
What
I
was
gotta
your I forgot.
It was about how Echo and Rex and them were gonna get intel about Mount Tantus and whereabouts of Crosshair or something like that.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
it's all coming together.
100% right.
Addie, you're on to something.
Mm-hmm.
I should have went back and listened to what your voicemail was so I could remember specifically. But yes, good theory. Your theories are working out way better than ours.
True.
And yes, so. But that being said, we got 2 from Daniel, which we've got a couple weeks ago. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago or something? We got some from him, but we got some good ones.
2 weeks ago, but
and he has some really good theories of his own. And so let's take a listen to number 1 from Daniel.
Hey, Drew. Hey, Jeremiah. This is Daniel from Southern California again. Just wanted to talk about the latest episode of The Bad Batch. And it just seems like the episodes so far this season are really pushing hard the idea that the Empire and the clones are going to come to a head. The Empire is turning against them, and the clones are starting to push back, gather together, assemble, and resist. And just makes me think, do you think we could eventually see a second Clone War, this time with the clones turning against the Empire? I know that Pablo Hidalgo has talked in the past about Clone War and Clone Wars kind of being used interchangeably, but this would kind of be a cool retcon into saying, oh yeah, the Clone Wars that Leia referred to actually referred to multiple Clone Wars. And yeah, so I think it's a great idea. It creates an interesting storyline for the Dark Times. Let me know what you think.
Thank you. That is a good theory, that like a clone uprising is like a war, a little mini war that happens early on in the Empire, which would be a great story. If that was season 3,
That would be cool.
a clone uprising, and
I
like
want
the
to see
bad.
that live action, but yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, live action would be great. But
That would be so amazing, live action.
But yes, I like that theory. I think it'd be really cool. It might be a bit ambitious though, because like I don't know. I don't know enough about the comics of what happened during the Imperial era, and all I know is like Cal Kestis 5 years in. That's where it's like it would have probably happened before that 5 years. I'm guessing because all the clones are gone by then. But I don't know. I like it. Clone Wars versus Clone War. That'd be. And then he made the comment about maybe Princess Leia. Message to Obi-Wan was when she says Clone War, it was the Clone Uprising rather than the Clone Wars. And he mentioned Leia, and he started thinking about Leia more about that. And so his second voicemail is diving into that a little bit more.
Hey, it's Daniel again. My last comment just got me thinking a little bit more about Princess Leia, and when she says in A New Hope to General Kenobi, "You served my father during the Clone Wars," and I don't think we actually have ever seen that specific story point happen, either in the animated series or the films. So I wonder if that whole idea of having multiple Clone Wars opens up the option for a second season of Kenobi, kind of a prequel to the one that we got, where we see Kenobi in this theoretical second Clone War, meeting up with Bail Organa and having an adventure there. So that'd be cool. It'd be kind of Star Wars' way of doing things by having the second part be a prequel. Anyway, it's an idea I had. Bye-bye.
Thank you for that, Daniel. And yes, like
that would be cool.
Going back looking at the Clone Wars, was there ever a mission where Obi-Wan and Bail Organa like were involved with? Like I don't remember that specifically. Like yes, we had Bail Organa in the Clone Wars, but like it was very spotty. So I can't remember just because he wasn't
well,
there a
and
lot.
Everyone just assumes that it's like
just in general, like
just
Clone
in general.
Wars. But it would be cool if
that would be sweet, because like something similar that they did with that was with the Kenobi show itself. That whole line in A New Hope, also when Obi-Wan said, or Vader said, I'm a lot stronger since last time I saw you.
Right.
And everyone thought that could have ended with episode 3, but now it's this part, right? So, in the Kenobi show, so it's easy for them to go back and do something like that. So it'd be cool if they end Bad Batch with leading up to that little war, and then they continue through Kenobi, and that would be like the live action version of that.
Maybe.
And then Kenobi like links up with the Rex.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think what was said in Kenobi, if there was any reference that he's never left. Like, because I feel like where Kenobi was emotionally, like he never left Tatooine once he got there. But like
since then,
but like if they didn't say that specifically, then they could do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like the idea that Kenobi was defeated, like emotionally, like where he was when we see him, like he's this emotionally broken, and he admitted that we've lost, we're done. Like so, for him to like 2 years in go on a mission with Bail Organa would seem to contradict that like storyline that we see him in Kenobi.
They would lose
again,
and then they lost.
Right, but
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna try anyway to make more money off that.
Right, But yes, Daniel.
If anything, though, it wouldn't surprise me if we get like a Vader spinoff show. I've said this before.
The whole saga is his spinoff.
Sure, I know, but you know what I mean.
Right. All right. Cool. Thank you for those voicemails, Daniel, Addie, and Asterisk Will. It was just a text one, but we'll still count it.
It works. It was the most
But-
confusing one.
But yes, because it was the biggest stumped question we've ever had.
Gosh, I feel so dumb.
But yes, the streak is still alive,
Yeah.
and it's good that those voicemails came in today because, in 2 weeks we're only back down to Mando, and that's the only show we're doing. So we have to have voicemails for the Mandalorian, and so don't forget to send in voicemails. If you've never sent in a voicemail, please just send it in. It's super easy. All you got,
Yeah.
if you just want to say, "Hey, I'm so and so from wherever you live," just we'll take it. That's great. We
Yep.
want to know more about our fans. Like we love introduce like the Q&A and polls on Spotify now. Like we love using that and interacting with the fans, but the voicemails is always something special. Just hearing new voices, new people, hearing those accents.
And like we said earlier, like if you're having technical difficulties, you can always just email us at empireradiofan@gmail.com, and you guys can write it out or just record a short 1 minute thing like off your phone and email it to us. Like most phones, like if you have an iPhone, there's literally a recording that's built on your phone, and you can just send that as a MP4 to us in an email, and we'll display it that way too.
Yeah, definitely. And so that email is in our description in our links.co/Empire Radio. There's a landing page, and the fan email, Empire Radio Fans at Gmail link is right in there. So send us, for whatever you want to email us about, you can do that. And that's what you'll use for the VCU Illustration Project, which there's a link for that as well. But if you want to get connected with us all the other ways, there's the Discord link. Join the Discord. Click that. Join Discord. Have a lot of fun. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. We're part of needlesslynerdy.com, which is an entertainment network that we're part of. A lot of nerdy stuff on there. So if you're tired of listening to us two schmucks and you want to hear some new podcasts or read some articles or whatever, go check out needlesslynerdy.com. And I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think that's
And the voicemail link is there too. So that's how you can send us a voicemail by clicking that link. Anything else, Drew?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
Next week, finale. Buckle up.
Finale. I'm really hoping they don't screw this up.
I don't think
but,
they will.
But I think I have faith in it. So, all right.
The last two episodes are most likely directed by Dave Filoni, so we'll be good.
We'll see.
Hopefully.
But anyway, you guys have been listening to another Bad Batch-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.